few ideas about Pesach. And I thought we'd talk about an interesting question that a young married couple came and asked me recently. They just got married, and they asked me where they should go for Seder night. Of course, she wanted to go to her parents, and he wanted to go to his parents. What should they do? So the first thing I told them was that it's better that these type of questions, they should determine themselves. They don't have to ask a rabbi for this. These type of questions are something that every couple should be able to work out themselves. Nonetheless, they turned to me and asked me and said, what did I think? So I said there's no halacha, there's no Jewish law about where you have to go. But we do find a few hints in the rabbis about where you should go for Seder night, either to her parents or to his parents. There's a Mishnah that talks about the Pesach sacrifice, the Korban Pesach. In order to partake of the Korban Pesach, in order to eat of the Pesach sacrifice, a person had to be a member of the group who was officially registered on that sacrifice. You couldn't just turn up and eat. You registered as one of the group, one of the chabura, and then you could eat for the sacrifice. What would happen if by mistake a person was registered on two different Pesach sacrifices? The Mishnah brings an example of a young lady who just got married, and her husband went and slaughtered the Pesach sacrifice with the intention that his new young bride should partake of his Pesach sacrifice with him. But her father went and sacrificed a Pesach sacrifice with the intention that his daughter, as in previous years, should eat with him. She would come to his house for Passover. The law in the Mishnah is that she's registered on her father's Passover sacrifice. If she didn't say that she wanted to be with her husband, we assume that in the first year of marriage, she was going to partake of her father's sacrifice. And Rashi explains this is because the way of the world is that in the first year of marriage, the couple has the first Passover with the wife's family. So he doesn't say what to do in the following years, but we could assume that the first year by the wife's family, the next year by the husband's family, and so on, alternate from year to year until, Baruch Hashem, they'll manage to be the heads of the households themselves and make their own Seder. That's the first hint that you should go to the wife's family. There's another hint, which is that we have a commandment on Passover and on all the festivals to be happy. V'samachta b'chagecha. You should be happy on your festival. The Gemara asks, what makes a person happy? The Gemara explains that wine, maybe even good meat, make a person happy. Then the Gemara says, and what should a person do to make his wife and children happy? The Gemara explains that in order to make one's wife happy, you should buy a new clothes. The Gemara even explains the difference between the types of outfits the ladies in Eretz Yisrael liked as opposed to the types of outfits the ladies in Babylon liked. Then Gemara says, and how can one make their children happy? Gemara explains you can make one's children happy by buying them sweets. The language the Gemara uses is, what does the husband do to make his wife happy? From this we understand that the obligation is on the husband to make his wife happy. But we don't find that the Gemara says, what does the wife do to make the husband happy? From here we see that the husband has a greater obligation to make his wife happy than the wife has to make the husband happy. So therefore, if the husband knows that the wife is going to be happier on the festival going to her parents' house, then he has a big obligation to go to her house than she has to go to his house. Thirdly, there's a law in the Torah that says that a young married man in the first year of his marriage should be free for his house. Now, all the traditional commentators understand this, as our rabbis explained, that a person in the first year of marriage is limited to how much he has to go out into the army. Today, where we unfortunately are in the situation where we have obligatory army service because of the needs of the nation and the enemies who come to fight us, so everyone's obligated to go out. According to the Mishnah, even a bride under the chuppah goes to help fight for Am Yisrael in times of dire need. But when it's not times of dire need, when it's the armies, the country is not in danger of being overrun, then a young husband in the first year of marriage is exempt from military service. However, there's one commentator who explains that when it says that a person should be free for his household in the first year of marriage, it means that a person has an obligation to make his wife happy during the first year. The Aruch HaShulchan, one of the latter-day rabbis, explains that according to this commentator, during the first year a husband has an extra obligation to do the will of his wife and to try and do everything he can to make her happy. Based on this, if it's the first year of marriage, the husband should make an extra effort to do things that will make his wife extra happy. So, we've seen 3 reasons why the husband should go to his wife's family and go to where she wants to go for the Seder. Firstly, in the Gemara, the custom was to go to the wife's family in the first year of marriage. Second of all, the husband has an obligation to make his wife happy in the festival by buying her a new dress. But if he has an obligation to make her happy, it probably includes everything that will make her happy, going to where she wants to go for Yom Tov. And thirdly, in the first year of marriage, the husband has an extra obligation to make sure that his bride is a happy lady. Wherever you go for Seder, you should be blessed that both of you should have a wonderful Seder together with all your families, together with all of Am Yisrael. We should merit to have a wonderful, wonderful Pesach and Lashana Haba B'Yerushalayim HaBenuya.